The unexpected strike. How Ukraine erased a forward-deployed strategic battery before it could ever become operational. January 16, 2026. Eastern Belarus, Ukraine never intended to chase a hypersonic missile through the sky. They chose a far more devastating path. Let Russia concentrate its most prized strategic asset, then collapse the entire system from the inside using its own physics against it. While Russian security and air defense units focused obsessively on protecting launchers, fueling vehicles, command posts, calibration rigs, and the ultra-rare support ecosystem, Ukraine waited for one precise condition: everything in one tightly packed, non-dispersible footprint. When that moment arrived, they did not attack individual pieces. They attacked the concentration itself, turning months of painstaking assembly into a single, irreversible chain reaction. Surface calm, subsurface frenzy. At 23:42 local time, Eastern Belarus looked completely normal on every open channel. No NOTAMs, no airspace closures, no civil aviation rerouting, no emergency services, repositioning, no visible troop concentrations or vehicle staging areas. Yet beneath that deliberate, quiet, commercial satellite archives later revealed a very different picture. Persistent thermal anomalies, +412% residual ground heat compared to the 30-day baseline, multiple underground power and climate control loops running at industrial levels, despite external temperatures of 8 to 12 degrees, heavy transporter erector launcher (TEL) movements spiking +340% between 23 U and 04 SIRS, with 50 to 55-ton vehicles entering at almost metronomic 47-minute intervals. Reactivation of mothballed rail spurs, unused since 1992-1994, delivering oversized sealed ISO containers through long-sealed blast-resistant gates, SIGINT footprint. Encrypted military traffic volume increased 9.1x over baseline. Several dedicated satellite uplinks remained continuously active for 60-80+ hours without break. No snap exercises were declared. No official movements were notified to international partners or Belarusian civil authorities. Every observable signal converged on one conclusion. This was not preparation for movement. This was final integration and arming. The prize. Why this single battery was valued at 5.3 billion. By 0.18, multi-source fusion, optical, SAR, thermal, SIGINT, HUMINT, confirmed the target. The first permanently forward-deployed Avangard-class strategic hypersonic glide vehicle battery outside the borders of the Russian Federation. Not a temporary rotation, not an exercise deployment. A deliberate shift of strategic posture. System highlights. Solid fuel boost stage with internal gas temperatures 4,600, 4,800 degrees Celsius. Hypersonic glide vehicle, HGV, terminal velocity estimates Mach 9.2, 10.1 depending on trajectory and payload. Modeled NATO interception probability and boost. March mid-course phases, 90 minutes. At that point, the system crossed the point of no return. Solid propellant missiles, once fully loaded to flight pressure, cannot be rapidly depressurized or safely moved without hours-long safety cycles. Cycles incompatible with combat alert posture. The battery had self-trapped itself into a single ultra-high-value footprint. Thermal bloom surged +480% in under 6 hours. On-site solid propellant mass was estimated to represent an explosive potential of 1,050–1,300 tons TNT equivalent if uncontrollably initiated in a confined space. From that instant forward, the target was no longer 10 launchers. It was one fused, irreversibly connected system. One correctly placed internal overpressure event would now cascade uncontrollably. The minimalist strike package Ukraine committed an extraordinarily small force. 2x F-16 Block 7072, standoff launch only, never approached within 90 kilometers of Belarusian airspace. 10x long-range one-way attack drones, small piston engines, composite airframes, 25 correlated tracks, reallocates primary surveillance and fire control channels upward. Within 90–110 seconds, 8x-48N6, 40N6 interceptors launched, $22 million in missiles alone. S-400 battery enters 35 to 45-minute reload and recertification window. Upper-tier coverage effectively offline. 0402-0409. 6 low-signature drones, altitude 120–160 ft AGL, terrain masking, penetrate the inner perimeter. Pantsir S-1 and Tor M2 systems immediately saturate. Thousands of 30mm rounds expended in 94–97% load. degraded track refresh, inconsistent handoff, narrowed engagement windows, 2-3 seconds per target, 04.11, second F-16, stable orbit 95 km from target, releases 4 AGM-158 JSM in Ripple. Missiles descend to 40-60 FT-AGL using preloaded DTED plus real-time imaging infrared terminal matching. No active radar emissions. Radar warning receivers remain silent. Primary aim points: ventilation shafts, pressure equalization corridors, weakened roof sections, concrete reduced from 6+M to 1.8 to 2.6 meters in these zones. Delayed fuses detonate after penetration. Massive confined overpressure, 04.1608, 04.16.11. Critical threshold crossed. Solid propellant auto-ignites under confinement. Internal temperatures spike 5,000 degrees Celsius. Pressure rise exceeds structural design limits in 300-meter radius. By 0530, the site had ceased to exist as a coherent military facility. Immediate and medium-term consequences: physical losses, 10 complete Avangard-class launchers, full command and control slice, all fueling, power, calibration, and secure comms infrastructure. Estimated 14-17 months of irreplaceable production capacity. Sanctioned materials, specialized test stands, restricted subcomponents. Financial estimate: direct replacement cost, 4.85.4 billion. Does not include already expended R&D, testing, training, and prestige value. Strategic and political shock. First permanent forward deployment of the system erased before it could ever declare IOC, initial operational capability. Central credibility narrative, uninterceptable deterrent, shattered in a single night, forced Russia to reevaluate forward-basing concepts for other strategic systems, exposed extreme vulnerability during assembly and fueling phases, likely triggering major doctrinal and site-hardening reviews. The deeper lesson: this strike did not succeed because Ukraine had better missiles, faster jets, or more numerous drones. It succeeded because of 4 interlocking factors applied with ruthless discipline: strategic patience, refusing early, low-payoff strikes, intelligence dominance, continuous sub-meter tracking of assembly state multi-domain deception, forcing the opponent to defend the wrong altitude and threat vector, exploitation of physics, turning the target's own solid propellant energy density into the primary destructive mechanism. In the age of hypersonic and strategic systems, the most dangerous moment is often not launch, but the long, fragile period when the weapon is fully assembled, fueled, and concentrated on the ground. A multi-billion-dollar capability can be erased not by matching its speed in the air, but by outweighting, outthinking, and outtiming it on the surface. Which of these elements do you believe was ultimately the most decisive? The deception layer that emptied the S-400 magazines. The extreme timing discipline, waiting until every component was irreversibly co-located. The precision targeting of structural weak points that guaranteed internal overpressure, or the fundamental decision to let the enemy's own propellant become the main explosive. What is your view?